Right, so this program on what you did last lesson, where you should already know how to make a ball move around a screen, a bit like the Pac-Man would in Pac-Man. So if you play it at the moment, it moves around in different directions like that. That's all it does so far. So what we're going to do this time is we're going to add some sprites to this that it can collect that will give us a score. So the first thing we're going to need is whatever it is we're collecting. So I'm going to find an apple. Could be anything, doesn't have to be an apple. We'll put that in, we'll make it a little bit smaller. Now, to be able to get a score to appear, we need something called a variable. So we've added the apple. To get a variable, there's a bit over here which says variables. Now remember, you can watch this video back. Even if you don't have the sound, you can watch it back just to remind yourself what I do and where I get these things. So we're going to make a variable and call it score. Now we get the choice to make it just for this sprite or all sprites. We're going to make it for all sprites. All of the variables we use will be for all sprites. So click OK like that. Notice we've now got a score, has appeared at the top left here. You can move that around to different places if you want. It won't do anything yet. Okay, so to get it to do something, we need to add some code to the apple. We could actually add the code to the apple or the ball, but we're going to put it on the apple. So on the apple, we're going to say onStart. So we need an onStart event and then a forever loop, just like we did when we programmed the ball last lesson. So let's put a forever loop in. This just means it's going to keep doing this as long as the program is running. So in that forever loop, we're going to say if that apple is touching the ball, we're going to add something to the score. So we need a sensing block. So we've got an if, and then under sensing, we're touching the beach ball. We could actually say touching a certain color, but we're going to say touching the beach ball. Then we're going to do something. And the thing that we're going to do is we're going to change that variable score. So the variable score we're going to change by 1. So we drag that out, change my variable by 1, but we need to choose the score variable in there. So what will happen now is when I hit that apple, it will change the score. Let's see if that works. There we go. Now notice the score just keeps going up because we're still touching the apple. So it just keeps adding 1 on very, very quickly. So there's a few different ways you can deal with this. You could add a wait, so it waits until the ball's past it. But what we're actually going to do is make the apple hide. So under looks, you can find hide like this. So this time when we run it, when we touch the apple, it will just give us 1 because the apple is going to hide like that, which is great. Problem we have though is if we run the program again, the apple is still hidden. So we need to do something else. Before our forever loop, we need to tell it to show the apple. So we're going to go into looks again, find show, put that before our forever loop. So now it's going to, when we hit the green button, it's going to show the apple again. And the apple is going to disappear when we hit it. Notice how the score doesn't reset either. So we can also change that. Right where we've got the show, we can set, if I go to variables, we can set the score variable to 0. So this time when I run it, the score goes back to 0 when I run the program. There we go. So that works. Now that you've got that code and it works for that apple, you can get more apples by just duplicating like this. Then when we run the program, they'll all show. And if you want, you can obviously move those around to different areas of the screen. So it's a bit harder to get them. Okay. So now when I run it, it's going to collect 1, collect another, give you 2, and so on. Right, we've got the score working. So your teacher's probably going to pause the video at this point and let you have a go at doing just that bit before continuing the rest. I'm now going to go on in the video to show you the next part of this, which is getting the ball speed to change. So I'm going to go back to the beach ball. And this time, instead of having it just move 6 steps, I'm going to have it move whatever speed the ball is. So I need a new variable, which I'm going to call speed, again, for all sprites. Notice that's appeared there. I might want to line them up a bit better, that sort of thing. I haven't lined them up very well, but you get the idea. So at the minute, the speed is set to 0. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, instead of move 6 steps, I'm going to move however many steps the speed is. And the speed is going to start off at 0 because I'm going to set it when the thing is clicked, flag, I'm going to set the speed to 0. So it won't be moving to start with. So let's try that. So this time the beach ball isn't moving because the speed is set to 0. Now to get the speed to change, I'm actually going to put something under each of the arrow keys. So I'm going to say, when I hit the down arrow key, point it in direction down and change the speed to 5. And I can do the same thing for the others. So let's just quickly do that. So set speed to 5. You must remember to change it from my variable to speed. Set speed to 5. And last one, set speed to 5. So that should do the same as it did originally now, but there's a reason we've done that, which you'll see in a minute. So press the left, changes the speed to 5, and right, and you can start doing it like that. Now, if I wanted to, I could start adding more keys. So now that I've got the speed as a separate speed, I could have maybe like a booster. So if I just go to events, and I could say maybe when the B key is pressed, then I'm going to make it go faster. So I'm going to change the speed, set speed to something like, I don't know, 10. So it goes faster when you press B. Let's see how that works. So it's going to the right, it's going speed 5, make it go to the left, but if I press B, it starts going 10. When I press another arrow key, it goes back to 5. Now you could do a few things with this. You could either just set the speed to 10, or you could have it so it changes the speed by just 1. So every time you press B or a different key, whatever key you want, it gets faster by 1. So this time if I run it, I'll just get it at the edge and then do it so you can see it. I press B, it just goes up by 1 every time you press B and gets faster and faster. What I might also do, if I go back to events, I could say when space is pressed, or any key you want for that matter, I'm going to set the speed to 0 so we can stop the ball like that. So I'm going to play it. This time I'm moving, but I'm going to press space and it stops it because it sets the speed to 0. So that's how that one works. Give that a go. And as always, there's going to be some extension tasks for you to have a go at yourself once you've finished the basic program.